Hey, what's up guys? In this video I'm going to be talking about why I think cables do matter. It's been a highly, angry debate about, one certain cable sounding better than the other. Should you spend more money on a cable? Should you spend $8,000 on an HDMI cable? And that's not really what this is about. But it's still about making really good consumer choices when you buy anything really, and something as arbitrary as a cable is really important down the line, and I'll kind of explain why. So I was talking to my aunt, and she wanted to get a digital camera, and she was trying to find one, and she planned on getting one that had the most megapixels. And that was the most important thing, was the megapixels. And I said, no, it's not necessarily the megapixels that you need to worry about. It's certain things like, price, and, little things you might not even think about. Like, this is a Canon camera. This is a Rebel T5. And I don't know what it's called across the pond. But when I was looking at this camera, what was really important was how fast it turns on. Like, that's a spec that no one really thinks about. And if you need to know, it's basically, I'm going to turn it on, it's basically instant. Right? And that makes, that's an important specification, because, something like my GoPro here, I want to turn it on, right? I hit the on button, I hold it, and takes a little while, and then there you go. So it takes a little while, for an action camera. That's a long time. If if there's some action going on, you want to get it. Recent. I'm not gonna even bother trying to turn that off so quickly. Recent purchase, the Zoom, which I'm still going to try to review. The Zoom is what was important was how fast it turned on. I pulled it in the wrong direction. So on, and light up screen, right? Takes a tiny bit, and then now loading. Now I can record. So it's one of those things. You got to be a smart consumer about certain things, like how fast the camera turns on, and the dynamic range is kind of more important than the amount of megapixels, because every freaking camera can do like 80 gajillion megapixels these days. So with cables, like, what's important with the cables? Well, I'll show you an example of really crappy cables. This one right here. Super thin. These are patch cables, so it doesn't really count. But these cables, super thin gauge, this thing right here. And if you don't know what the problem with this thing is, it'll become clear near the end of the video. But this isn't gonna last long. Only if it's plugged in the back of your gear and it's behind it, and you only look at it every couple years to unplug it. And it's just one of those things that gets tangled really easily. And these cables, if you're hurting, you can get them, but they're just going to cause more problems down the line. Another cable, something a little bit thicker. You're like, okay, this is cool. Is this good? No. This isn't good, not in my opinion. Even though, it has that little thing there. It's a stronger wire, you can yank on it. That's all well and good. But what makes a good cable, in my opinion, is something like this. And what makes this special? Well, this you can actually repair. If this gets snipped off, this part right here, if that gets snipped off, or someone trips on it and it yanks it out and it gets destroyed, you can just basically just snip that, open this metal part here, strip it, and then just resolder it, and it's super good to go. And then you don't need to buy a new cable. In order to repair that, I don't even think you can. You need an X-Acto knife or something like that. These are stupid. These don't even make sense to me. right? So yeah, that's just one of those things. And like yeah, these are a lot more, well, a bit more expensive, but then you have the ability to, you know, repair and reuse these. And like you know, your cable will just be a little bit shorter, but you won't have to go out and buy a thing. You know, and then you can get into the beefy instrument cables. Like this one's pretty cool, but you can't actually. I don't know how to open this guy up. I don't know what's going on here, so I'd have to kind of look that up if I ever want to repair. But yeah, like the connection inside, they rip all the time, even from normal use. So yeah, this is one of the backups. Also, if you can get the right angle ones. The right angle ones are perfect because you know if you have. Here, I'll get the other side. If you have the back of your synth right, and you have this plugged in, the rest of this, right, is just dangling, right? And that can cause problems with it. It just adds torque to the PCB and stuff like that inside, and it's not good. And you know, it just dangles and stuff like that. But if you plug in like the right angle, it's a little bit more, you know, it's not so much bending, it's more pulling down, if anything. So you get, you know, it's nice for your synths to have this, and yeah, it gives you opportunity to, like, I don't know, look cool. I think these are called 90 degree, or they might be like elbow plugs. I don't know. And that goes with any other cable as well. Like, you know, we all have these USB cables like this. That's all well and good, but do you have the one that's right angle that like plugs into the back of your machine and it's all nice and neat on your desk? Because these cables on your desk, they just go every which way. But if you have this just clicked on there, you can nicely tidily put it behind your gear, and it works super well. You know, and what else? Yeah, like for XLR, you know, XLR's pretty good. You don't really need an angled XLR because, you know, there's 3 pins in here, and these kind of click in. They were designed to be really resistant, you know, compared to this. So yeah. Anyway, moral of the story. Yeah, just be a smart kind of consumer and opt for these, if anything, because, you know, how many cables have I recycled because I couldn't get in there, and, you know, sacrificed the end, just like kept the wire, and, you know, these are, you know, finding these by themselves is kind of whatever, but, you know, you always have these if you need them. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you learned stuff. Take care and have a good one.